Here we have another example of a circular part combined with this square part. So it's going to be a complex figure or a composite figure. Now, I included these dotted lines to illustrate where if this is a 5 yards and this is 5 yards, if I draw dotted lines, I can illustrate this is a square. So this is 5 and this is 5. In addition, you see how this part is a circular part, but not a full circle. But I illustrate that this is the center right here. So if this is the center, now for the circle part, then this part right here is the radius of 5. This is the radius of 5. This is the radius of 5. This is the radius of 5. So my radius R is 5, or my diameter, which is twice of the radius, 10 yards. Now, if we were doing circumference, so circumference or perimeter, CP. So here, this is my S1, S2, and then this curved part is going to be S3. So my CP is basically S1 plus S2 plus S3. Now, we can automatically plug in S1 and S2, which is just 5 yards each. Now, S3 is going to be different. Now, since it's not a full circle, there's a thing we have to do to change the format. Now, for circumference of a circle, it's 2 pi r. Now, 2 pi r is basically for the full circle. But if you look closely, the circle only covers 3 parts of the circle. So if I were to break down the circle into 4 parts, I'm dividing by 4. But it's covering 3 parts of it out of 4. So that's 3/4. So what I mean by 3/4 is that we're going to find the circumference 3/4 of the circle. So if this is a whole circle, basically I'm going to multiply by 3/4. So here's the circumference of a full circle. When I multiply by 3/4, I'm just looking for 3/4 of the circumference of the circle. So when I'm multiplying, I'm going to multiply to the numerator. So 2 pi r times 3 divided by 4. So again, I multiply by 3/4 because if you look at the circle, it only covers 3/4 of a full circle. So 1, 2, 3. So here I'm going to multiply the whole number, so it's going to be 6 pi over r divided by 4. Alright, so I'm going to work on the circumference here. So I'm going to plug in pi and I'm going to plug in r. So here is going to be, right up here, 6 times 3.14 times 5 divided by 4. So I'm going to multiply the whole number. So 6 times 5, that's 30, times 3.14 times 4. So since these two are multiplying, what I can do is divide 30 by 4 instead of 3.14 by 4. So I'm going to divide 30 by 4. Now, it's not going to be a whole number. It's actually going to come out as a positive. So when I do 30 divided by 4, I could do the work here. Four doesn't go into 3, so I'm going to use 4 goes into 30 7 times, so that's 28, which is 2. Now, since I'm at the end of this whole number, I'm going to add a 0. If I do add a 0, I must put a decimal after the 7, bring down the 0, which makes it 20. 4 goes into 20 5 times. So we're good. So 30 divided by 4 is 7.5. And it's still being multiplied to 3.14. Alright, so I'm going to erase this to make more room. I'm going to do 3.14 here times 7.5. Alright, 5 times 4, 20, carry the 2. 5 times 1 is 5, plus the 2, 7. 5 times 3, 15. Alright, I'm working with the 7, skip a space. 7 times 4 is 28, so 8 here, carry the 2. 7 times 1 is 7, plus the 2, 9. 7 times 3 is 21. So this is 21. Make sure you line up your numbers. So 0 here. 8 and 7, that's 15. Carry the 1. 1 plus 5 plus 9, that's going to be 15. Carry another 1. 1, 1, 1, that's 3. And then the 2. Alright. Now to check our decimal places. Since I have 2 up here and 1 right here, so 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to move 3 decimal places from the right. 1, 2, 3. So my actual number is 23.55. Since the end was 0, I could drop it and just leave it like that. So I don't have to write 0.550. I just write 0.55. So my circumference, or my S3, will be 23.55 or 0.55. So that's my S3. Alright, now I'm going to erase all this so that I can actually start finding my CP. So my S1 is 5 and my S2 is 5. Now, since I'm working with decimals, this will be 5.00, this will be 5.00, and then 23.55. When I'm adding these, I'm going to line it up. So 5.00, 5.00, 23.55. So again, I line up my decimal when I'm adding, and you would do the same thing if you were subtracting. So when I'm adding, this will be 55 here, 5, 5, 3, 13, carry the 1, so 3. So my CP is 33.55 yards. So my circumference / perimeter is 33.55 yards. Next, we are working with area. So again, the formula for area of a circle, since we have a circular part, is pi r squared. Now, it's very similar to the process when we're finding area. So what we're going to do is, if I do the area of a full circle using this formula. So again, this formula is for the area of a full circle, but we only have 3 parts of it out of 4. So since we only have 3 parts out of 4, I'm basically going to multiply this by 3/4. So before I write anything, let me label my areas. So this whole circular part right here, that's one section. This little square, this is going to be my A1. This 3 parts of a circle will be my A2. So let's talk about A2. If I were to use a formula of a circle, which is pi r squared, that's for a full circle. As I was saying, we only see 3 parts out of 4 of a full circle, so I'm going to multiply by 3/4, just like how we did in finding circumference and perimeter. So we're going to multiply by 3/4. I'm going to multiply pi r squared to the numerator. So it's going to be 3 pi r squared over 4. So that's what I did. Now I'm going to write over here so I can have more room. So my A2 is 3 pi r squared over 4. So I'm going to plug in pi and r squared. So 3 times 3.14 times 5 squared over 4. Next, I'm going to do 5 squared. So 3 times 3.14 times 25 divided by 4. Alright, so I'm going to write over here. What I'm going to do is I want to multiply the whole number, so 3 and 25, that's going to become 75 times 3.14 divided by 4. Alright, so instead of dividing 3.14 by 4, I'm going to divide 75 by 4 because my numerator, these two numbers are multiplying, so I can divide one at a time. So when I divide 75 by 4, I'm going to write right here, 75 divided by 4. 4 can go in 7 one time. So I'm left for 3. Bring down to 5. So 4 can go in 35 8 times, which is 32, which is 3. So I'm going to add a 0 here. When I do that, I must add a decimal. Bring down my 0, so that's 30. So 4 goes in 30 7 times, so that's 28. So I'm left with 2, so I'm going to add another 0. I'm going to bring it down, so that's going to make it 20. 4 goes into 20 5 times, and my remainder is 0. So 75 divided by 4 will be 18.75, and then I'm going to multiply by 3.14. So two decimal places, look like it's going to be a big number. Alright, so we see that it's going to be, A2 is going to be 18.75 times 3.14. So I'm going to write it up here for the time being. So 18.75 times 3.14. Next, I'm going to erase to make more room. Right, so we're going to do the same thing as what we did, multiplying with decimals. So I'm going to put 18.75 on the top, and then 3.14. Alright, so 4 times 5, 20, carry the 2. 4 times 7 is 28, plus the 2 is 30, carry the 3. 4 times 8 is 32, plus 3, which is 35, carry the 3. 4 times 1 is 4, plus the 3, 7. Alright, 1 times 5, 5. Remember, I skip a place. 1 times 7, 7. 1 times 8, 8. 1 times 1, 1. Now I'm going to skip two spaces, start underneath the 7. 3 times 5, 15. Carry the 1. 3 times 7, 21. Plus another 1, that's 22. Carry the 2. 3 times 8, 24. Plus the 2, that's 26. Carry the 2. 3 times 1, 3. Plus the 2, that's 5. Alright. So this would be 0. This will be 5. 5 plus 7 plus 5, that's 17. Carry the 1. 1 plus 7 plus 8 plus 2, that's going to be 18. Carry the 1. 1 plus 1 plus 6, that's going to be 8. And then it's just 5. Alright. So like I said, it's going to be a big number. Next, count my decimal places. So up here, 1, 2. Down here, 1, 2. So my total decimal places is 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Starting from here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So my actual number is 58.875. I'm dropping a 0, so I don't need to write 4 decimal places. I could write it as 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That changed into 58.875. So my A2 is 58.875 yards square, since I'm doing area. Alright, I'm going to erase this to make more room. Now, we need to find area of this little square. So my A1 is basically 5 times 5, which is basically 25 yards square. So from there, I'm going to do my AC, because I found the area of this 3/4 of a circle and this little square. So my AC is equal to A1 plus A2. Now be mindful, 25 is my A1. It's a whole number, but I'm working with decimal. So I'm going to write it as 25.000 plus my A2, which is 58.875. So when I'm adding these up, when you line it up, make sure you line up your decimal. And when you add, you should have 83.875 yards square. So that's my AC. So my final answer is 83.875 yards square.